A number of politicians, public figures, newspapers and magazines, businesses and other organizations endorsed either the United Kingdom remaining in the EU or the United Kingdom leaving the EU during the United Kingdom European Union membership referendum. 2016. Remain. Government territories voting in referendum. Government of the United Kingdom, Scottish Government, Welsh Government, Government of Gibraltar, other Crown dependencies. Government of Jersey, Government of Guernsey, not EU governments. Government of Japan. Registered political parties, national parties, Green Party of England and Wales, Labour Party, Left Unity, Liberal Democrats. Parties in Scotland: Scottish National Party, Scottish Green Party, Scottish Socialist Party. Parties in Northern Ireland: Alliance Party of Northern Ireland, Green Party in Northern Ireland, NI21, Sinn Féin, Social Democratic and Labour Party, Ulster Unionist Party. Parties in Wales: Plaid Cymru. Parties in Gibraltar: Gibraltar Social Democrats, Gibraltar Socialist Labour Party, Liberal Party of Gibraltar. Other regional parties: Mebby and Kerno. Business leaders' letter to the Times. In a letter published in the Times, a wide range of business leaders, including 36 FTSE 100 companies, called for a vote to stay in the European Union. The letter states that British business needs unrestricted access to the European market of 500 million people in order to continue to grow, invest, and create jobs. We believe that leaving the EU would deter investment, threaten jobs, and put the economy at risk. Britain will be stronger, safer, and better off remaining a member of the EU. Politicians: only politicians who hold positions that differ from the party line or whose party is officially neutral are listed here. Conservative Party. Within the Conservative Party, 25 of the 30 cabinet ministers, including the Prime Minister, specifically. Others include former Prime Minister John Major, former party leader William Hague, former Deputy Prime Minister Michael Heseltine, David Willetts, former Chancellor of the Exchequer Ken Clarke, and former Ministers Edwina Currie and Baroness Warsi. The majority of the Conservative Party's 330 MPs have announced that they will campaign for Britain to remain in the European Union, including cabinet ministers. The list includes the list of Conservative members of the European Parliament that have announced that they will campaign for Britain to remain in the European Union. Are other Conservatives supporting a Remain vote: Stephen Greenhalgh, the Deputy London Mayor until May 2016, Stanley Johnson, a former Conservative MEP and environmentalist, the father of Top Vote Leave campaigner Boris Johnson, Chris Patten, a former chairman of the Conservative Party, Ruth Davidson, leader of the Scottish Conservative Party. Scottish Conservative MSPs also include Miles Briggs, Peter Chapman, Jackson Carlaw, John Lamont, Alex Johnston, Rachel Hamilton, Elizabeth Smith, Donald Cameron, Adam Tompkins, Douglas Ross, Brian Whittle, Finlay Carson and Annie Wells. Independent: Sylvia Herman, Geoffrey Evans, 4th Baron Mount Evans, Lord Mayor of London. International figures. From other European Union member states, other countries, international organizations, European Central Bank, Group of 7, G20 major economies, World Trade Organization, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Worldwide Fund for Nature, Unite the Union. Businesses: newspapers and magazines, British newspapers and magazines, foreign newspapers and magazines, Algemeen Dagblad, Der Spiegel, Il Sole 24 or Irish Independent, Le Soir. Local government authorities: Birmingham City Council, Bristol City Council, Camden London Borough Council, Cardiff City Council, City of London Corporation, Glasgow City Council, Leeds City Council, Leicester City Council, Liverpool City Council, London Assembly, Manchester City Council, Milton Keynes Council, Newcastle City Council, Nottingham City Council, Redbridge London Borough Council, Sheffield City Council. Organisations. Trade unions. The Trades Union Congress, representing 52 British trade unions, has endorsed Britain remaining in the EU. All but a few of its member unions are expected to urge voters to stay in the EU. Other organisations noted individuals' healthcare professionals letter. In a letter to the Times, around 200 healthcare professionals defended the EU as an overall benefit to UK public health, the NHS and health research. Sections from the letter state, as health professionals and researchers we write to highlight the valuable benefits of continued EU membership to the NHS, medical innovation and UK public health. We have made enormous progress over decades in international health research, health services innovation and public health. Much has been built around shared policies and capacity across the EU. EU trade deals will not privatize the NHS, as the EU negotiating position now contains clear safeguards. Decisions on NHS privatization are in UK government hands alone. EU immigration is a net benefit to our NHS in terms of finances, staffing and exchanges. Finally, leaving the EU would not provide a financial windfall for the NHS. Signatories included Royal Society letter, led by Professor Stephen Hawking, more than 150 notable academics, all Fellows of the Royal Society, signed a letter to the Times newspaper setting out the position on the European Union that leaving the bloc would damage science and research. They include university leaders letter. Over 100 UK university leaders signed an open letter to the Sunday Times supporting UK membership of the EU. They state that, inside the EU, we are better able to collaborate with partners from across Europe to carry out cutting-edge research, from medical and healthcare advances to new materials, products and services. In the EU, the UK is also a more attractive destination for global talent, ensuring that our students are taught by the best minds from across Europe. This has a direct impact on our economy, driving growth, generating jobs and ultimately improving people's lives. Signatories included Creative Industries letter. Almost 300 of the world's biggest creative industries names signed a letter to support keeping Britain in the EU, including the names listed below. A Creative Industries Federation survey also reveals 96% of its members support remaining in the EU. The letter states that Britain is not just stronger in Europe, it is more imaginative and more creative, and our global creative success would be severely weakened by walking away. Signatories included Economist's letter. In a letter to the Times, 279 economists stated that Brexit would entail significant long-term costs. The signatories write, focusing entirely on the economics, we consider that it would be a major mistake for the UK to leave the European Union. At the time of publication, the letter had 199 signatories. A further 80 signed after publication. Lawyers report. Around 300 lawyers signed a report on UK membership of the EU and the alternatives. They stated, we recognised how much of the debate on the UK's membership of the EU is based on a lack of information, misconceptions, or worse, misinformation. Ultimately, we believe a sensible judgment on EU membership can be made only on the basis of reliable evidence. The signatories consider that the UK's interests are best served by remaining in the EU. Historian's letter. In a letter to The Guardian, more than 300 prominent historians urged the United Kingdom to remain in the European Union. The letter says, on the 23rd of June, we face a choice: to cast ourselves adrift, condemning ourselves to irrelevance and Europe to division and weakness, or to reaffirm our commitment to the EU and stiffen the cohesion of our continent in a dangerous world. Armed Forces and Security Services. Sir Jonathan Evans, a former Director General of MI5, Eliza Manningham-Buller, a former Director General of MI5, Sir John Sawyers, a former Chief of the Secret Intelligence Service, Sir Hugh Order, former President of the Association of Chief Police Officers, and former Chief Constable of the Police Service of Northern Ireland, Lynn Owens, Director General of the National Crime Agency, General Lord Dannatt, a former Chief of the General Staff, General Sir Rupert Smith, a former Deputy Supreme Allied Commander Europe, Lieutenant General Sir John Kisley, a former Deputy Supreme Allied Commander Europe, Admiral Sir Mark Stanhope, a former First Sea Lord, Lord Stirrup, Marshal of the Royal Air Force, a former Chief of Defence Staff, Robert Wainwright, Director of Europol, Lieutenant General Sir Richard Sharef, a former Deputy Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, Peter Carrington, 6th Baron Carrington, former Secretary General of NATO, Field Marshal Edwin Bramall, Baron Bramall, a former Chief of Defence Staff, British Army, Admiral of the Fleet Michael Boyce, Baron Boyce, a former Chief of Defence Staff, Royal Navy, General Sir Mike Jackson, a former Chief of the General Staff, British Army, Lieutenant General Sir Rob Fry, a former Deputy Chief of Defence Staff, Royal Marines, Jonathan Shaw, Major General, British Army. Letters to The Guardian by European writers. On 4 June 2016, The Guardian newspaper published a number of letters to Britain by European writers and intellectuals giving their opinion on the referendum and Britain's place in Europe. All of the letters express support for Remain. The writers were Elena Ferrante, Italian; Javier Marias, Spanish; Timur Vermes, German; and Enright, Irish; Yanis Varoufakis, Greek; Riyad Sattouf, French; Jonas Jonasson, Swedish; Kapka Kasabova, Bulgarian; Slavoj Zizek, Slovenian. Nobel Prize laureates letter. On 10 June 2016, the Daily Telegraph published a letter signed by 13 winners of the Nobel Prize expressing the view that being part of the EU is good for British science and that is good for Britain. Dr. Sidney Brenner, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 2002, Sir Martin Evans, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 2007, Sir André Geim, Laureate, Physics 2010, Sir John Gurdon, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 2012, Professor Peter Higgs, Laureate, Physics 2013, Sir Tim Hunt, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 2001, Dr. Thomas Lindahl, Laureate, Chemistry 2015, Sir Kostyunovas Love, Laureate, Physics 2010, Sir Paul Nurse, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 2001, Professor John O'Keefe, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 2014, Sir Richard Roberts, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 1993, Sir John Sulston, Laureate, Physiology of Medicine 2002, Sir John Walker, Laureate, Chemistry 1997. Nobel Prize in Economics laureates letter. On 19 June 2016, The Guardian published a letter signed by 10 winners of the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences, expressing the view that the economic argument was clearly in favour of continued UK membership within the EU. George Eckloff, Laureate, 2001, Kenneth Tharrow, Laureate, 1972. Angus Deaton, Laureate, 2015. Peter Diamond, Laureate, 2010. James Heckman, Laureate, 2000. Eric Marsken, Laureate, 2007. Sir James Mirrlees, Laureate, 1996. Christopher A. Pissarides, Laureate, 2010. Robert Solow, Laureate, 1987. Jean T. Roll, Laureate, 2014. Leave, registered political parties. UK-wide parties: British Democratic Party, Britain First, British National Party, Liberal Party, Independence from Europe, Liberty GB, New Communist Party of Britain, Respect Party, Social Democratic Party, Socialist Labour Party, Trade Unionist and Socialist Coalition, UK Independence Party. Parties in England: English Democrats. Parties in Scotland: Scottish Democratic Alliance, Scottish Libertarian Party, Solidarity. Parties in Northern Ireland: Democratic Unionist Party, Traditional Unionist Voice, People Before Profit Alliance, ARIG. Business leaders: politicians. Only politicians who hold positions that differ from the party line or whose party is officially neutral are listed here. Conservative Party. Within the Conservative Party, 5 cabinet members. At the time the referendum was called, the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions was Ian Duncan Smith, who also supports Leave. He subsequently resigned following the 2016 United Kingdom budget. Some suspected his resignation was due to his support for British withdrawal from the EU, but Duncan Smith has denied this, claiming such allegations as a deliberate attempt to discredit him, as well as these ministers: the former Mayor of London Boris Johnson, the Conservative candidate for the 2016 mayoral election, Zach Goldsmith, a former leader Michael Howard, former Defence Secretary Liam Fox, and the leader of the Welsh Conservative Party Andrew R.T. Davies are campaigning to leave. The party campaign to exit the EU is Conservatives for Britain, which is headed by 2 former Chancellors of the Exchequer, Lord Lawson and Lord Lamont. Many other Conservative MPs have announced that they will campaign for Britain to vote to leave. Conservatives MEPs include Daniel Hannan, Andrew Lewer, Emma McClarkin, Amjad Bashir, David Campbell Bannerman and Saeed Kamel. Conservative peers include Lords Trimble, David Calms, the Marquess of Lothian, and Lord Framer, a former Treasurer, Lord Dobbs, Baron Leach and former Deputy Party Chairman Lord Ashcroft. The Bow Group, a Conservative think tank, is also lending its support to the Leave EU campaign. Scottish Conservative MSPs include Margaret Mitchell, Graham Simpson, Alexander Stewart, Ross Thompson, Gordon Lyndhurst and Oliver Mundell. Former Conservative MPs Esther McVeigh, Louise Mensch 2010–2012, Michael Portillo, Anne Widdecombe and Teddy Taylor. Labour Party. Within the Labour Party, Labour Leave is headed by donor John Mills. Labour MPs supporting a Leave vote: John Mann, Kate Hoey, Frank Field, Gisela Stewart, Graham Stringer, Kelvin Hopkins, Roger Godsiff, John Cryer, frontbench member, chair of the Parliamentary Labour Party, Dennis Skinner, Ronnie Campbell. Labour MSPs, Elaine Smith. Former Labour MPs, Tom Harris, Ian Davidson, Austin Mitchell, Nigel Griffiths. Green Party. Within the Green Party, the Green Leaves organisation is campaigning on behalf of Green Party members who advocate a Leave vote. Member of the House of Lords and former London Assembly member Jenny Jones is campaigning to leave. Liberal Democrats. Within the Liberal Democrats, the Liberal Leave campaign is headed by former Hereford MP, Paul Keach. Scottish National Party. Within the SNP, former SNP Deputy Leader and MP Jim Sillars and former SNP Leader and MP Gordon Wilson have endorsed a Leave vote in the referendum. There are multiple groups for SNP members advocating a Leave vote, such as SNP Vote Leave, Ulster Unionist Party. Within the UUP, Harold Mookie MLA and former leader Tom Elliott MP, Independent Lord Owen, currently an Independent Social Democrat peer, a former Labour Foreign Secretary and leader of the Social Democratic Party. Lord Clooney, currently a crossbench peer, a former Ulster Unionist Party MP and MEP. Lord Stoddart, member of the House of Lords since 1983 and Independent Labour peer since 2002. International figures. From other European Union member states, other countries, businesses: Aspel cider manufacturers, JCB manufacturing company, Tate & Lyle agribusiness, Wetherspoons pub chain, Nirvana Spa Day Spa, newspapers and magazines, British newspapers and magazines, foreign newspapers and magazines, National Review, U.S. Current Affairs magazine, local government authorities, Bromley London Borough Council. Havering London Borough Council became the first council in the UK to back Brexit. Lincolnshire County Council, Portsmouth City Council, Thanet District Council, Thurrock Council. Organizations: trade unions, Associated Society of Locomotive Engineers and Firemen, Bakers, Food and Allied Workers Union, Indian Workers Association, National Union of Rail, Maritime and Transport Workers, Northern Ireland Public Service Alliance. Other organizations: Bow Group, the Bruges Group, Commonwealth Freedom of Movement Organization. Noted individuals officially endorse neither side. Registered political parties: Conservative Party allows members free choice, suspending collective ministerial responsibility. Official Monster Raving Loony Party supports a vote on in, out, or shake it all about. Socialist Equality Party supports an electoral boycott. Women's Equality Party, non-partisan on the issue, argues that EU gains on women's rights should not be lost if Britain withdraws. Businesses: Lloyds Banking Group, Morrisons, Sainsbury's, Tesco. Newspapers and magazines: Yorkshire Post. International figures: Ted Cruz, U.S. Senator and 2016 Republican presidential candidate; Gary Johnson, 2016 Libertarian Party presidential candidate; Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India; Paul Ryan, Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives; Vladimir Putin, President of Russia. Organizations: 38 Degrees supports giving clear information about the referendum and the European Union. Church of England, Patricia Scotland, Baroness Scotland, Commonwealth Secretary-General, stated Commonwealth had no unified position on Britain should stay go, but that the idea to replace the EU with the Commonwealth is a false choice.